I'm here in Amilwaukee, Wisconsin. I got here around 10 or 11 o'clock last night after I ran out of gas in Chicago after getting 450 miles out of the same gas tank. And Mr. Tim Hoyler has the day off for like a week and a half, and I have a box of tapes. And we are going to run out to Iowa for some cars and fix a brake job for some lady. And go to the Hot Rod Power Tour and pick up some Toyota vans and go out to Columbus and bring the RX back here and do some trailer in and inventing and computer in and websiting and all that good stuff. Today I'm making a documentary about Mr. Tim Hansen, who is an aspiring filmmaker, musician, and Toyota enthusiast. Here is Mr. Hansen, bright and early in the morning. Mr. Tim's musical implementation here. We have a Blue Comets 73
you're absolutely right.
analog synthesizer unit here from eBay.
It's true. For his room, yeah.
Tim's very first Yamaha from back in his day. If I believe this may be the same unit. And various other
Yeah, what we talked about, everything's
Casio
good. We're good to go with that plan.
with
paying rent.
analog
and I'll have money for you.
control. And you can't escape
Not a problem.
the Casio. Mr. Hansen's various VHS-C video camera equipment, electric bass, amplifier.
Certainly. I still wanted to look into getting even like
And
desktop
computer,
stuff instead of the.
who was built by his buddy who liked to show it off at LAN parties. This is Mr. Hansen's house. This room has been refinished.
I'm wondering, would that
His dad
would
works
that be cheaper
or
is this cheaper?
is a partner in his own company who knows cheap and reliable labor in the trade, and the house has seen some work to increase its equity value. Mr. Hansen rents these rooms out, various rooms of the house, that pays for the mortgage. This house draws more income from rent than what's owed for its mortgage. This house is a 3-level house with the attic, the second floor, which I'm now on, and downstairs and a basement to make that a 4-level house. I guess one time back in the 50s there was a fire on the second floor, which explains why all the wood grain trim has been painted white. But everywhere else we have this nice rich oak or maple wood here, which is, I find, very nice for a house, and find it so nice that I took upon myself to polish it down with the old Murphy soap, just because it looked like it needed it. You know, just like if I see a Subaru that says, hey, your car needs a timing belt, I'll just put one in there just because it needs it. This here is where I slept, on this here couch, until I moved over here to this here couch. Here we are in the dining room with a built-in hutch, cupboard, curio, whatever you want to call it, for this era type semi-Victorian style house. Here is a door that leads to the pantry, which also comes around through from the kitchen. And a bathroom under the stairs. Here's a kitchen with the kind of misplaced 80s style architecture of the laminated particle board kitchen arrangement. It is now 8 o'clock Wisconsin time, which is concurrent with Indiana time at this point in time, until Indiana switches over to daylight savings times, and therefore which Indiana would be on the same time as Ohio, which it would be 9 o'clock in Ohio. Now away leads to the basement. I was here for 3 weeks, and this is where I stayed. At a nice average 50 degrees, which wasn't too bad considering I spent some time as a kid living in a house under construction with an average inside ambient temperature of 45 degrees in the wintertime, which I would be waking up with numb toes and I could see my breath. When I first arrived, there was a block party going down in this here basement, and then another block party later on the next weekend, and I was under the impression that, yeah, it was a block party house, but apparently this is not a common everyday occurrence. At a freak incident, which led me to the wrong impression of the household here. Some college kids lived around here, upstairs in these rooms, for a hefty sum of rent, in my opinion, and, you know, irresponsible college types that wouldn't know how to take care of themselves, whose parents would buy their rent and pay for their school, and they only go to school because it's fun, not because they're learning. Such things like the stove was off limits because someone would cook a pizza and leave the stove on for who knows how long until somebody noticed it was on, where the owner of the house would lock the dishes away in the basement because people would leave them strewn about various locations throughout the premises. And the dishwasher was off limits because it uses up water so much more than doing the dishes by hand. Here we are at 2967 Farwell. We are a block and 3 houses from the UWM campus, University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, where Mr. Tim spends some of his time down in the basement in the film lab capturing and editing the 41 tapes on digital video from the Catch This Fox documentary featuring Miles Fox, his cars, his travels, and his troubles with the law. This here room used to belong to someone who found himself in jail and, bound by lease and rent agreements, was still paying rent at the same time he was in jail. And here we are back in Tim's room. Hopefully by now he had put some pants on.
Yeah, that was pretty startling.
There you go, ladies, right there. Some of that Tim Hansen for you.